Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is September the 14th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Today was productive, or at least it has been so far, I'd say. We got up at a good time. We got into doing some laundry, went and worked out. While I was working out, or when I actually got in, a person I've been kind of like just talking to who works there, they were like really nice, and I guess they were cleaning out like a bunch of like lost and found stuff. And they're like, "Hey, like there's a bunch of nice water bottles here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty dope." I mean, it's cool that you're cleaning them all out and getting it all out. It's like crazy that people would leave water bottles like that are that pricey. And she's like, "Yeah, I just gotta get rid of all of them. I'm a tidying type of person. I'm OCD." And she's like, "Hey, would you want one of them?" And I was like, "Oh, I mean, that'd be cool." And they just literally just went ahead and handed it to me. And then I looked it up later. And I was like, "That's a $35 water bottle." So I'm really stoked because I've been working out and now I'm technically making money. I'm getting my value out of this motherfucker. So we love that. So yeah, workout went well. That's good. It's warmer though. I will say that. That's a random thing. I always like, once I get a bit of fall, I immediately am like, it's fall time. It's fall now. There's what summer? What? No, it's gone. And it's like, no, it's still pretty warm out. So, adjusting living accordingly. But yeah, so far it's been a good day. Now I'm just chilling, about to get into some news with y'all. Let's see here. How was the rest of the birthday? It was good. It was relaxed, very chill. Food corner. We had pizza. Went to Domino's. I had a. How many cheeses did we get in here? I think it was like technically 4 cheeses. Let's see. We had the Alfredo sauce base. We'll count that. Then we had like the Parmesan. Then I think they had some Asiago situation, and I think there was a blend. So yeah, 4 cheeses. It was 4 cheeses. I gotta admit that might have been one cheese too many, but overall the pizza was good there. Then I had and it was hand tossed in terms of like what type of pizza it was. And then the New York style ham and pineapple with a barbecue base. So yeah, both very good, both very yummy. But I would say maybe a bit too cheesy on the cheese pizza there. But I didn't really mind. All right, so yeah, we're all caught up on my Joneses. Like I said, birthday was birthday, man. Felt good. Love y'all to death. Everyone who hit me up and sent positive vibrations to me, sent money. I really love it. Really love y'all. Y'all the best. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into our startup, and we will get into some news. All right. From CBS News, Iran says it successfully launched satellite with rocket that officials fear may advance ballistic missile program. Now, I'm not even, I got to keep it a buck with y'all. I kind of think this is pretty interesting. Um, Iran launched a satellite into space Saturday with a rocket built by the country's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, state run media reported. The latest for a program the West fears helps Tehran advance its ballistic missile program. Now, this is impressive to me because of all the sanctions, of all the scrutiny that we put on Iran, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're a violent nation state, they do all this and that and the third, like we aren't as U.S. Americans, whatever the fuck. It's impressive that throughout all the odds, that this is not even the first satellite that they've done. This is their second satellite that they've put into orbit. Now, granted, CBS is quick to say, hey, it hasn't been confirmed, but, we're just going to rock with it like it is. But yeah, let's see. Footage later released by Iranian media showed the rocket blast off from a mobile launcher An Associated Press analysis of the video and other imagery later released suggested the launch happened at the Guard's launch pad on the outskirts of the city of Sharud, some 215 miles east of the capital, Tehran. Let's see here. The Iran identified the satellite-carrying rocket as Qayyim 100, which the Guard used in January for another successful launch. Qayyim means upright in Iran's Farsi language. The solid fuel 3-stage rocket put the Chandrayaan-1 satellite, weighing 132 pounds, into a 340-mile orbit, state media reported. The rocket bore a Quranic verse that, which says, that which is left by Allah is better for you if you are believers. So I guess there's some like cold shit to say before you blow a motherfucker up. I don't know, but I haven't read the Quran. Full disclosure. All right. That's really where I wanted to leave it there. They kind of go through some recap and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But yeah, they got another satellite up there. We're not happy about it, if you're in the West. But okay, life's going to go on. Things are going to be pretty much the same, I would say. I don't think this is that crazy. But yeah, another update from CNN. Or not CNN, why did I just say that? Looking at this peacock. From NBC News. Kim Jong-un tours North Korea uranium enrichment facility in rare nuclear program photos. Images of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un often allow the world a chance to peek inside his reclusive nuclear-armed state. And on Friday, they went a step further. Having frequently shown off his weapons, Kim offered an unprecedented glimpse into a glimpse of what powers them. Also, I gotta say, I was initially, when I heard the story throughout the week, I was kind of like, snooze. It's not that interesting. Of course, they've enriched and made their program better over the time. The last time we had access to them was in 2010. So that's not really surprising. It's always about why they're doing it that makes it more interesting. It's like why you're doing the show of force now. I don't know. Maybe it is just a flex. Just kind of it's like we have enough here to kind of show that we've drastically improved. I think it's also said that at least from this article that I read here, that they have about a dozen nuclear missiles. It's, I guess, just a matter of where can you launch them effectively, because they always will have their little drills and they'll shoot off a rocket and show that they can do it, but sometimes they don't go well. Sometimes they show okay, you can hit South Korea, but I think the bigger conversation for the West is well, can you hit the US? Because if you can hit the US, then it's a big conversation starter. But they haven't really proven that yet. And I wouldn't say this proves that either. But once again, it is a, a big evolution in the program that they kind of get to flex and show off finally. But my favorite part so far from what I've seen are the photos. The photos are cool. Once again, I know maybe that's a spicy thing to say or whatever, but I like seeing Kim Jong-un. I remember when I would see tabloids showing him losing weight or something, and then he gained it back, and I felt so bad. I'm like, man, I've been there, bro. I've been there. But it's always nice to kind of see his little swag pics. What's the outfit? I see he's in a baggy era, for sure. There's the military photo, because after they show the enrichment facility, he goes, I guess, to a military area to run a drill. So there's that photo I have there of him inspecting the troops and stuff. And then there's another photo that I don't have in this thumbnail, unfortunately, but it's him with a fucking rifle, just fucking down sights and shit. I gotta say, it's fucking hard. It's actually in this article if you do want to look it up, so you can see it there. But let me go ahead and read some. Pyongyang released the first ever images of an uranium enriched facility of an uranium enrichment facility that provides fuel or produces fuel for its nuclear bombs, showing Kim Jong-un touring the facility as he called for his military to exponentially increase its nuclear arsenal to be ready for combat with the United States and its allies. The pictures released by state media KCNA offer a rare glimpse into North Korea's nuclear program, which has been shrouded in secrecy and is banned under multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions. I'm sorry. So, kind of like what I was saying with Iran earlier, it's very similar where I would say that an impressive note here is that in spite of it all, in spite of all the sanctions, in spite of all the fucking bullshit, historically, that the Western countries, especially the U.S., going back from like the Cold War era shit, has put on North Korea. It's put on Korea as a whole country, really. It is impressive as hell that they are here doing the shit they are doing. I know that there are so many times that media will portray North Korea as very goofy and very dumb and like very like wild and brutalistic and da 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 da. And like obviously there are shades of those things. Every nation state has these kind of elements. They're a theocracy. I don't think that's a great way of leading a country. Though, I mean, we're really rocking well in the free world. Woo, democracy. But, it's one of those things where it is impressive that despite through it all, you would think that this little enclave, this little area wouldn't have the ability to do this. But you heard what I said, about a dozen nukes. Like that's pretty fucking impressive. And I think that they do these things a lot of times. A lot of the saber rattling, the grandstanding is that you don't want to have a situation where the U.S. thinks that they can bully you around or that South Korea can bully you around. You don't want that at all. You want to make sure that you are standing tall and you are standing strong all the time, always. So being able to like have something like this media-wise to kind of just roll out, it makes sense to do. Like everything that the Kim Jong-un, the family, whatever, that they do, it's very calculated. So always interesting to see and yap about. But yeah, let me go ahead and move on to the next beat. From CBS News. DirecTV, Disney reach agreement, restoring channels. Now, I didn't know this, but apparently I think, since September 1st, there has been a blackout between DirecTV and Disney. So that's affecting like some channels. Let's see. The channels including ESPN, Disney, ABC stations, and streaming services, including Hulu. But they have been restored as of this deal, but it's still in the works. They're still working to finalize it. Sorry, I'm kind of just riffing. I haven't even really started the way I normally do. DirecTV and the Walt Disney Company have reached an agreement in principle, returning Disney channels to DirecTV customers. The parties are still working to finalize a new multi-year contract, according to a joint news release on Saturday from the two companies. The channels, including ESPN, Disney, ABC stations, and streaming services, including Hulu, have been immediately restored. The channels have been in the dark for millions of DirecTV customers since September 1st. DirecTV has 11.3 million customers, CBS News previously reported. I was kind of surprised that this went down, but at the same time, I really don't watch that much cable TV in general. I kind of get my shit just directly from those sources. I don't really, like I said, I don't have cable. I'm not using a fucking dish. So this is kind of one of those things that just went over my head. I didn't know this was a thing until I read it. But, it kind of seems like DirecTV is kind of in a bind here because essentially they're like, oh, we don't like the fees that we are having to deal with right now when it comes to Disney, and that's where this all kind of bred from. But essentially, Disney can kind of just walk. They don't really care. It's like, we want your money, but like at the end of the day, the customers will come to get our content at the end of the day. That's their logic. And it's like if they leave you and go to a cable provider, or they leave you and they buy directly from us via some kind of bundle or whatever, we don't care. So I think that's just one of those big bank fighting a littler bank in that situation. Even though we're talking about DirecTV, you're not bigger than Disney in the situation. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that they maybe said, okay, after, about over 12 days or so, like, oh, maybe we should come to the table. Maybe we should fucking work it out. All right, let's go ahead and move on, though. Got one more thing I wanted to cover. Back to Boar's Head. This is an unfortunate one. It's bad meat. We got beef with the meat. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and take my last break, and we will get into it. All right, from USA Today. Boar's Head to close Virginia plant linked to listeria outbreak. 500 people out of work. So, I mean, despite everything going on, I was a bit surprised to see Boar's Head close down a whole Virginia plant over this. But maybe I'll get into some of my musings on maybe why that's happened. The Jarrat, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm gonna say Jarrat, Virginia, Boar's Head plant linked to the ongoing multi-state listeria outbreak is closing permanently. The company announced on Friday. The deadly outbreak was first reported on July 19th by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and was followed by a recall of 207,528 pounds of liverwurst by the company on July 26th. Boar's Head issued an expanded recall on July 30th to include every product made at the same Jarrat, Virginia facility where its liverwurst was produced, equating to about 7.2 million pounds. At least 57 have been hospitalized as a result of the outbreak across 18 states, including 9 deaths as of August 28th, according to the CDC investigation. And maybe it's just the level of devastation of this outbreak that it's making them close this down, because at the end of the day, it comes back to just reports of mold, mildew, insects, water leaks, and other unsanitary conditions. But these are all things that if you just actually apply maintenance and you actually apply what's the word I'm looking for, quality control and assurance, things like that, these are going to be fine. But I feel like these things fell by the wayside because they just weren't meeting the bottom line budget, and you didn't have the workers focused on that, so therefore they didn't. They focused on meeting the other bottom lines, like getting the meat, up and out. And yeah, you have this fucking outbreak. But at the end of the day, you are throwing out a bunch of union jobs. And I imagine at the end of the day, Boar's Head is just going to consolidate with other plants. Maybe they're going to build another plant somewhere else. Probably a place where there's not. It's going to be very hard to form a union. And that's going to be very frustrating. And kind of leads me to maybe the main reason why. But I do think that the whole idea of there's this really bad stigma now. We kind of can't shake this in this area with this plant. It's going to maybe always have it hang over. I don't know. Let's see. There was an important part I wanted to get. Let's see if I can not miss it. But I know, here we go. It's about the liverwurst. The company also said it would be permanently discontinuing its liverwurst products after investigations found the root cause of the contamination only existed at the Jarrat plant facility, or the Jarrat facility, in the production of liverwurst. So the liverwurst heads out there, RIP, you're gonna have to find a new source, a new plug, because it's too hot. And that's what I'm thinking. It's okay, maybe that was another main focus of this. Maybe I shouldn't take it to dark corpo automatically, but I always feel like that's a relevant thing to mention and talk about in these kind of situations, because at the end of the day, these motherfuckers hate unions more than anything fucking else. And if they can shake off a fucking union and start a new company or a new facility somewhere else so they don't have to deal with that shit, they would love it, because then they can just pay the people whatever the fuck they want. They can work them however the fuck they want. You know what I mean? Nothing really matters in those situations when you don't have a union protecting the people who are working there. But yeah, obviously this is it's a bummer situation all around. Hopefully, this shit doesn't get worse in terms of just the spread of this whole situation with listeria. Very gross, very bad. Actually, before I close out, that Boar's Head is taking steps to prevent contaminations. I'm just gonna read the headline, the bold font here, the headlines of this. Chief Food Safety Officer. I guess the company is creating and recruiting for a new executive position, Chief Food Safety and Quality Assurance Officer, that reports to Boar's Head President Carlos Giraldo, a company-wide food safety and QA program. And then they are also establishing a Boar's Head Food and Safety Council. Oh, sorry. Whew. Big burp. That all sounds very well and good. And great, awesome. We'd love to see it. Kind of crazy. Maybe you didn't have these before, but whatever. Even Mr. Beast fucks up. So, hey. Whatever. But I don't think that, like, once again, just kind of going back to my statement about why I was surprised is that, like, couldn't you have just overhauled this plant and everything have been fine, right? Fuck a stigma. It is what it is. Like, okay, if you're going to discontinue the liverwurst, then, like, fine. Just, like, replace it with some other fucking thing or just get rid of it entirely. It doesn't matter. Your Boar's Head is big brand. Like, you just get back to the meat. I don't really fully understand. I'm kind of just left to speculate on the reasons why they made this decision. And once again, I just think it's just advantageous for them as a company. And once again, their bottom fucking line, which probably got them into this fucking mess in the first place. I mean, they're blaming the liverwurst, but I think it's really just the quality control. Why couldn't I find that word at the top of this fucking article? God damn it. Quality control. Yeah. I think it's the lack of that is really what got us here. And that usually happens is, once again, when you really just care about your bottom line, about getting the meat together and wrapped and bound all the way up or whatever, and then you ship it out and you can start making your fucking profit. And you don't really care about these facilities. And you should. Like I said, you shouldn't have mold and mildew and standing water. These shouldn't be things. But this isn't the first time I've kind of had this when we're talking about a fucking company that is making food that we eat on a daily goddamn basis. So yeah, I love that. Ooh-wee. I wish I could make a hog noise. That's not it. That just sounded really bad. I know it did, and I'm not going to continue it. I don't want to put that in your ear. That's the end of the episode. We're going to leave it there. I just snarked in your ear. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Hopefully you're listening to this on like a stereo in your house and you just heard that. I don't even want to attempt it again. Anyway, let's see. If you'd like to help out the effort, support the cause, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/AZANews. I do shout you out at the top of the podcast. Not top of the podcast. Well, at least once a month I do that. Not every episode. That'd be crazy. And sad, we are strong but few. How about that? But anyway, free ways to hit me up, azanews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials that you're on. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Really helps. Hit that like button. Leave a cool comment. Let's see here. Please do that as well if you're on Spotify. I know I'm a Spotify girly myself. But all the stars, you can leave comments. Did you know that? It's cool because I've noticed that even like big names on Spotify, like podcasts, they don't even get comments often. But it's nice whenever I see them because I just think it's fun. It's nice that like Spotify is trying to be more like a YouTube or whatever. I mean, they're never going to hit it. They're never going to get there. But, like, it's a nice little feature. So, yeah, feel free to do that on this episode if you want. Why not? Try it out. Take it for a spin. That's a way better sound effect. I could be a car. I can't be a hog. Anyway, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.